Hello guys, welcome to the trading Parrot. Let's do a quick update on XRP. XRP on the weekly time frame doesn't look really bad in my opinion. We reclaimed the $2, which is the support that I really want us to defend, and we are constrained against the downwards sloping resistance that we have been battling with 6 weeks in a row. From the point of view of the RSI, we can see that we have an internal breakout that was confirmed around the 21st of April. Since then, we talk about can we really have from here straight away a breakout, and I declared that my preference was to go sideways towards the line of the global breakout and be right there. We have partially achieved that. I would have preferred that we break out somewhere from here so we can defend this move up into a revenge rally, but instead of that we kind of went a little bit too low, but that's fine. Now we are facing the resistance from lower, but not necessarily putting a lower low, so it's kind of a compromise situation where we are, and it's pretty time sensitive because on the weekly we are confronting precisely that resistance as we speak. That is an RSI of 51 on the weekly. A couple of weeks we saw this already breaking out on intra candle, but it got pushed back inside. That can be seen with these weeks to the upside where we end up the week still below the resistance. From the point of view of support and resistance horizontal levels, the next resistance is at around 2.4, followed by 2.7. Below the support is definitely the $2, but there is a confluence of multiple weeks hitting 2.1 as well. So this is more like a band of support, we could say, and a failure of breaking out beyond this new resistance. It's very likely that we could end up weakening into this area. So if you are in a long, if you are accumulating at these areas and you are prepared to be wrong, make sure that if you are wrong and you hit liquidity at this point there, you have something in your risk management accounting for that. I'm going to explain why I'm saying this. From one side, we are in an area of value, and I'm talking about the delta longs versus shorts. There is very little amount of longs. We are about to hit that value area of the ascending support, and we could see, if we meet with this line or slightly getting closer to it, some incoming interest in doing so. At that point, possibly we can break this line and go into the percentiles on the top end. Definitely by doing that, we can have the breakout of the price together. Now, looking at liquidity levels, let's leave out of the screen this obvious area of 2.7 that coincides with the sell-off that we have from there. By doing that, we're just focusing on what we have next to the price. And I want you to see, picture in your head the delta that we are seeing of liquidity pools. We have quite heavy area in here relative to these two hills of liquidity pools on the right hand side of the chart. Let's remove the 3x's so it's even more obvious. Remember that market maker tends to target first the high leverage positions, so by removing the 3x or the 5x, we can see the magnitude of those high leverage positions that tend to prevent the price more often than not letting them really take profits. So if they have their risk in here, that makes that area heavy for market maker to go and target this, despite the fact that we could see liquidation levels at 2.7 or beyond. And that is a problem. It is definitely not a guarantee that we need to first take care of going into 1.9 and take out this hill before we go up, but I wouldn't feel confident entering in a swing long in this area, acknowledging the fact that this looks like a double bottom. It looks like a bottom information, that's what I mean, but a bottom information that is forming on an elevated amount of liquidity below up until 1.9. In terms of news, everything looks very bullish for XRP. We have spot XRP ETF starts trading in Canada this week, and this is the first one that goes live on Canada, which widens regulated access to the token and a spark of 7% pop in approval news. This went live on the 16th of June and is ranked at 8 out of 10 of bullishness. Coming at number 2 with a sentiment of 6 out of 10, we have the SEC and Ripple ask court to pause appeals while while finalizing the settlement, which is interesting that it's just flagged as a 6 and not higher than that. Why it matters for XRP price? A joint request signals both sides are close to ending the long-term running lawsuits. Resolving legal overhang will remove a key risk discount, though the extra weight tempers the enthusiasm. So I guess that is the bit that is still not great. And we got a 7 out of 10 with record 2.7k, while wallets now hold over 1 million XRP. It's a very similar pattern what we are seeing on XRP with many other coins. So in a nutshell, we got a setup on the daily time frame that looks bearish. We got a setup that looks like a head and shoulder with targets that could easily wipe the liquidity right below that support. And we need to be ready for two scenarios, for two cases, the bearish and the bullish case. The bullish case looks just like a quick swap and reclaim of 2.1 with further continuation into the next levels of liquidity on the top end in here that can bring the breakout outside that pattern. And obviously the bearish scenario looks more like a breakdown with rejection and further downside. The technical target in this case, just so you're prepared mentally and psychologically, is towards 1.5, and that takes all the longs that we currently have with the risk anywhere, and including the 3x's that are usually the smartest one that have their risk right there at 1.5. So if XRP really wanted to play nasty, can just go to 1.5 and take them out. Notice that the ones that are here are way less than the ones that drive the price into 1.7 with this last low that we have around April. And I think to achieve that bearish technical target, we really need Bitcoin as well to misbehave in a big way to get us there. I don't think that XRP is gonna go to this target if Bitcoin continues insisting with targeting the top liquidity in the way that we so far are seeing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.